And when you see their success now, it is a byproduct of having gotten up so many times after falling. Hey everybody, Pierre Quinn here, and I teach leaders like you how to courageously begin the journey to personal and professional transformation. And in this video, I want to talk to you about how to bounce back from an embarrassing moment. So let's go. Before we jump deeper into this video, be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can be one of the first to know whenever I release new content. So when was the last time you had an embarrassing moment? I mean, a really embarrassing moment. I've had several really embarrassing moments in my life. And one of the stories that really sticks out in my mind was the story of learning how to roller skate. Summertime in my city of Pontiac, Michigan, I spent a lot of time at my grandmother's house. On this particular summer, they had paved my grandmother's street with fresh blacktop. Everyone in the neighborhood said on the upcoming Saturday night, everyone was going to gather, hang out in the street, and skate and ride bikes. I was so looking forward to this experience where the entire neighborhood came together to hang out. But there was one problem. I really wanted to skate, but I didn't know how. I remember as the week moved along, my parents finally took me to our Kmart to buy a pair of skates. And they purchased for me a pair of black Velcro skates. I was looking forward to wearing my new skates for the street skate party. I tried to skate a couple of times around the house and it was okay. I was on carpet, I was holding on to tables and couches, and I said, I got this, I can manage this. And then the Saturday night finally came. I'm back at my grandmother's house, brand new pair of skates, hanging out in the streets with everyone else, and I have to let go of the fence. I mean, things were fine as long as I was hanging out with my skates on the fence, not really doing much movement. But then someone said, hey, Pierre, why aren't you skating? Well, I don't want to get my skates scuffed. Well, I want you guys to warm up the blacktop first. Well, there's plenty of night left. All the excuses came down to one simple thing. I didn't know how to skate. But finally, someone convinced me to push away from the fence and get out into the street. And do you know, I fell and fell and fell and fell again. I fell about 4 times before one of my cousins and other people in the neighborhood tried to help me skate, tried to help hold my arm and hold me up and show me moves, but I just kept falling. I just kept looking at my feet and falling. And after maybe 10 times of falling and then scraping my knee, I crawled to the curb, took my skates off, and went in the house. That was it. Everyone watched me fall. I wasn't going to do that for the rest of the night. I sat inside the house and watched everyone enjoy the rest of their evening while I was nursing a sore backside. Now Monday morning comes and I'm back at my grandmother's house with my skates. And I'm sitting there the entire morning watching the skates in the corner, and I finally make the decision, I'm gonna put these skates on and figure out how to skate. I strap my skates to my feet with all confidence and I head back out into the summer sun to learn how to skate. And I fall and I fall and I fall and I fall again, and it gets so bad that I actually crawl into the house because I can't stand up to walk back into the house on my skates. And then my grandfather has a suggestion. What about a pillow? He emerges from his room with one of his pillows and one of his belts. I strap this pillow to my waist and I stumble my way outside. I look absolutely ridiculous, but I have a safety net. I have a safety cushion. And now if I fall, it won't be as bad. So I'm back in the street again and I'm skating and I'm sweating and I'm skating and I'm sweating and I'm falling and I'm falling and I'm falling. But it isn't so bad because most of the time when I fall on my backside and I land on the pillow, which softens the contact. But as people were driving down the street, I had to move out of the way. And you know, car after car after car laughed at me, and they weren't laughing because I had on skates. They weren't laughing because I was falling. They were laughing because I was attempting to learn how to skate with a pillow strapped to my back. You see, as long as I had that pillow strapped to my back, I would never really commit to skating because I was always dependent upon the pillow that would cushion my fall. Stumbled back into the house, discarded the pillow and the belt, went back outside to skate, and I fell for the rest of the day. Now, the next day, all the neighborhood kids are out skating in the street, and I'm apprehensive because I don't want anybody else to see me fall. I don't want anybody else to laugh at my situation. I don't want anybody else to have fun at the expense of me trying to learn how to do this new thing. All the neighborhood kids are watching as I cling to the fence again. They say, hey, why don't you come out and skate? What's the problem? Don't you know how to skate? But I stumble back into the street and I fall. And do you know what happens? Everybody laughs. I'm embarrassed. The kids are laughing at me. And then one of them walks over and says, you need some help? And he helps me up, and I fall, and everybody laughs again. And then somebody else helps me up, and then somebody else falls, and everybody laughs, and then someone helps them up, and then they keep going. I realized at that moment that the hard part wasn't falling and being laughed at. The real difficulty was deciding to get up after you've fallen and have been laughed at. Angela Duckworth in her book describes grit as passion and perseverance toward a goal for an extended period of time. What I needed in that moment was I needed a sense of grit. And that is what makes the real difference between people who succeed and people that don't. That's what makes the real difference between people who bounce back from embarrassing moments and people that don't. If you want to recover from something difficult, if you want to recover from a major mistake, if you want to bounce back after an embarrassing moment, get back up. The people who make significant strides to changing the world around them are people who try again and again and again and again. And when we see them, we don't recognize or even give enough credit to the fact that they've tried 100 times, 1,000 times, 10,000 times, 50,000 times. And when you see their success now, it is a byproduct of having gotten up so many times after falling. So the next day I was back into the street skating and falling, skating and falling, skating and falling. And the next day I was back into the street skating and falling, skating and falling, skating and falling. And the next day I was back into the street skating and falling, skating and falling. Till finally one day, a couple of weeks later, I skated the entire afternoon and I did not fall. I skated the entire afternoon and I did not fall. And do you know how that was possible? It was possible because no matter how much it hurt, no matter how many times people laughed at me, no matter how embarrassed I felt, it was possible because I kept getting up. Listen, you might be in the middle of a huge blunder right now. You've let down the people who depend on you. You've embarrassed your team. You failed at your leadership. Here is the key to bouncing back. Don't just stay in that moment. I know it hurts. I know it's tough. I know people are pointing. I know people are whispering. I know people are saying all types of things about you, but here's how you recover. Keep getting up and keep trying. Here's how you recover. Keep getting up and keep moving. Here's how you recover. Acknowledge your mistakes, accept the reality that you blundered in this moment, and work toward the next moment. That's how the people who we consider to be greats become great. No matter how many times they fall, they get up and they keep going. So I know what you're thinking, some of you. You want to give up right now. You want to stop. You want to say, I'm done. And much of it has to do with the weight of this embarrassing moment right now. But you have the choice. You have the choice to keep getting up. And when you keep getting up, when you keep displaying the passion and perseverance for an extended period of time, that falling, that mistake making eventually transforms into proficiency. And eventually people come to you and ask for advice on how to make it. And you're able to leverage those embarrassing moments and tell them, I was only able to make it because I kept getting up. I know so much inside of you is trying to push you to give up, but you can't. You know why? Because there's so much more skating to do. And there's a life that you're called to live, but you will only experience it on the other side of being embarrassed. So what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there, or are you going to commit to keep getting up? Even if you stumble, even if you slip, even if you fall, are you going to commit to keep getting up so that eventually your perseverance and passion become proficiency? Eventually you become an expert. Eventually you become a change agent. And eventually you'll come to see the life you're called to live on the other side of those difficult moments. I hope you get up and decide to skate again.